Alright, this is my life video, I guess I would say, because when I had my ask and tell all, and I asked all of you to ask questions, I got a lot of them asking mostly about my life, and I figured that I would put them all into one video, even though I don't really know if I'll be able to do this in one part because there's only 7 questions, but we got a lot of explaining that I need to go find them. I did write these questions down, but I haven't thought about them a whole lot, so if I don't sound rehearsed, that's just because I haven't rehearsed anything. I haven't thought about them. But, I guess these are my questions. Number 1 is, you were adopted, right? What do you remember about that? I was adopted in July of 1999. I was 4 years old. I actually came to the family that I'm with now when I was 3 months old, and they kept me the entire time until I was adopted. The reason it was so difficult for me to get adopted is because my real father didn't want me to be adopted because he wanted to be my father. That kind of doesn't make sense. Okay, but the reason that he was against it was because I wasn't put up for adoption. I was taken and put up for adoption. Like, my real parents didn't do it. They were just like, my mom had a mental disorder, so she couldn't really take care of me because she had the mental capacity of like a 3 or 4 year old, and my real dad was only with her for the welfare money of having kids, and he was like a schizophrenic or something like that. I don't really, he has this like real disease that starts with S. I just don't know what it is. It's like freaky mental stuff though, and he's just messed up in the head. But so I got taken away because he was hurting me like physically, so that's why I was like taken for adoption. And I don't actually remember that stuff. My mom tells me about it whenever I ask my mom now. That does get confusing. Anyway, and so yeah, I remember being adopted on my actual adoption day. I remember things from when I was younger, like 1 and 2 and even 3 years old, like, but I can't ever remember having to visit my real parents, like my biological parents, even though my mom now constantly tells me that I had to visit them like every week for 4 years until I got adopted. So I guess I didn't like it, so I blocked it out of my head. So yeah, I think that answers that question, kind of. Does it? I don't know. I love being adopted though, because even though people, like, I've had people growing up like just tell me, you know, like, your parents don't really love you, you were adopted, and I'm just like, well, you know, you kind of just happened. I was hand chosen. It's kind of awesome. Number 2, how do you keep it together with all that you've been through? That's a really hard question to answer, like, exceptionally. I barely keep it together. There's some days I completely fall apart, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, you know what, I'm doing so great right now. I mean, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning right now because I can't sleep. I can't sleep because I have so much on my mind that I can't even, like, fathom the thought of sleeping. I barely make it through anything. I pretend that I'm strong, or I may come off as strong, but in all reality, I think I try to be strong for everyone else. I don't do it for me, because I don't think, like, actually within myself that I feel strong. I feel weak, and I feel miserable, and I feel like I'm hurting constantly. But yeah, I guess that one's that. 3. Describe the bullying you went through in high school. Okay. My freshman year, my freshman orientation, like when you have to go before all the rest of the upperclassmen, obviously some of the upperclassmen still show up or I wouldn't be telling the story. But basically, my freshman year, I had a back brace on because my back is broken, and I had to wear it for like 6 or 7 months or something like that. My freshman orientation, I had to wear it. It was like going into a new school where you didn't know anybody and having to look like a complete idiot is basically what it felt like. But, so there's that. My freshman orientation, there was an upperclassman in the hall, and I got lost because I had left one of my groups to use the bathroom, and I didn't really know anything was. So I asked this older classman to tell me where the nurse's office was, and he spit his dip into my hair, and I don't know if it was because I was scared or what I thought was going to happen, but I was very emotional, and I ran away, and I locked myself in the bathroom, and I cried. And then we had to go to the auditorium for a freshman meeting, and on my way there I got pushed onto my back, like where my back brace was, and it's a hard plastic brace, and I could not get up. There was no way I could get up, and people were laughing at me, and that was just my first day of school. So if you can imagine the torture I had to go through the rest of the years. Actually, my sophomore year, it wasn't even guys that were doing it. My freshman year, it was totally all guys that were doing it. And then my sophomore year, it was all girls. And I feel like although the guys were physical about the bullying, that the girls were emotionally just exhausting. It was so terrible. I had people constantly telling me that like I was worthless and you are nothing and there's nothing you are ever going to amount to be. And I guess I just let that get to me because I became very depressed and I couldn't really handle any of it. It was hard. It's been a very difficult high school experience, but yeah, okay.